What if I told you that two of the most talked about compounds in men's health right now aren't being used the way the headlines suggest? One built a reputation as a diabetes drug, the other has been treated like a niche hormone tweak for aging guys. But put them together, and something interesting happens to body composition that has clinics, biohackers, and researchers paying very close attention. This isn't about a magic shortcut, it's about understanding why this combination is showing up everywhere, and what the actual science says about the risks, the benefits, and the parts nobody's talking about. Let's break it down. Welcome back to Optimized Human. If you're new here, this channel is all about evidence-based education on hormones, peptides, and the kind of nutrition strategies most doctors never bring up. No hype, no prescriptions, just the research, explained like a friend who actually did the reading. Today, we're tackling the GLP-1 and TRT pairing, what people are calling the body recomposition stack. We're going to look at three things. First, what each of these compounds actually does in the body. Second, why combining them creates a synergy that single-agent approaches don't. And third, the trade-offs and risks you genuinely need to understand before this is ever a conversation with a qualified physician. Quick reminder before we go further, this is educational content. Nothing here is medical advice or a how-to guide. Everything related to these compounds belongs in a clinical setting with proper supervision. Got it? Good. Let's get into it. The two halves of the equation. Understanding what each compound actually does. To understand why this stack works, you have to understand what each piece brings to the table, because they're solving completely different problems. Let's start with GLP-1 agonists. GLP-1 stands for glucagon-like peptide 1. It's a hormone your gut naturally releases after you eat. Drugs like semaglutide and tirzepatide mimic this hormone, and they do a few key things. They slow gastric emptying so you feel full longer, they signal satiety to the brain so you simply want to eat less, and they improve insulin sensitivity. The results in the research are hard to ignore. In the STEP trials for semaglutide, participants lost an average of around 15% of their body weight over 68 weeks. The SURMOUNT trials for tirzepatide pushed that even higher, over 20% in some cohorts. These are numbers we previously only saw with surgery. But here's the catch, and it's a big one. A meaningful chunk of that weight loss isn't fat. Studies analyzing body composition during GLP-1 use show that anywhere from 25 to 40% of total weight lost can come from lean mass, muscle in other words. When you lose weight fast and your protein and training aren't dialed in, your body cannibalizes muscle right alongside fat. That's a problem. Now bring in the other half, TRT. Testosterone replacement therapy. Testosterone is the primary anabolic hormone in the male body. Its job, among many others, is to preserve and build lean muscle tissue, support strength, regulate fat distribution, and maintain bone density. The research on testosterone and body composition is decades deep. Even in studies on men with normal training, testosterone supplementation consistently increases lean mass and reduces fat mass independent of exercise. There's a well-known study published in the New England Journal of Medicine showing dose-dependent increases in muscle and decreases in fat with testosterone administration. So look at what we have. One compound is incredibly effective at reducing fat, but it threatens muscle. The other compound is exceptional at preserving and building muscle. Do you see where this is going? Why the combination creates synergy? The recomposition logic and the emerging evidence recomposition means losing fat and maintaining or gaining muscle at the same time. It's notoriously difficult, especially in a caloric deficit, because the same conditions that burn fat tend to break down muscle. This is exactly the gap the GLP-1 plus TRT pairing aims to fill. The theory is elegant. Let the GLP-1 drive the aggressive fat loss and appetite control, while testosterone acts as the muscle preservation insurance policy. You get the dramatic scale weight drop without the same degree of muscle sacrifice. And there's a second layer worth understanding. There's a real interplay between obesity, fat tissue, and testosterone. Excess body fat, especially visceral fat, increases the activity of an enzyme called aromatase, which converts testosterone into estrogen. More fat often means lower free testosterone. This is sometimes called the hypergonadal obesity cycle. Low testosterone makes it easier to gain fat, and more fat further lowers testosterone. It's a feedback loop that keeps men stuck. GLP-1 can break the fat side of that loop, and in some studies, weight loss alone has been shown to raise endogenous testosterone levels in men with obesity. So, in certain cases, the two are reinforcing the same direction biologically, not just stacking effects. Here's where the evidence currently stands. We don't yet have large, gold-standard randomized trials specifically testing semaglutide plus TRT for recomposition in healthy men. That's important to be honest about. But we do have strong mechanistic data on each individually, growing clinical observation from metabolic and men's health clinics, and a logical, physiology-backed rationale. What clinicians are reporting anecdotally lines up with the theory. Men using a GLP-1 with appropriately managed testosterone, combined with high protein intake and resistance training, tend to preserve significantly more lean mass during their fat loss phase than GLP-1 alone. And that last part matters. The stack is not a substitute for the fundamentals. The research is clear that adequate protein, generally cited around 1.6 grams per kilogram of body weight or higher during weight loss, and consistent resistance training are non-negotiable for protecting muscle. The compounds amplify good inputs. They don't replace them. Anyone telling you you can sit on the couch and recomp is selling you something. The trade-offs. Nobody puts in the thumbnail risks, side effects, and the honest conversation. This is the section that separates real education from hype, so stay with me. First, the GLP-1 side. These are not consequence-free. The most common side effects are gastrointestinal, nausea, vomiting, constipation, and reduced appetite that can go too far. That's actually relevant here. If your appetite is suppressed hard, hitting your protein target becomes a daily challenge, and ironically, that undermines the very muscle preservation you're after. There are also rarer but serious concerns documented in the research, including pancreatitis risk and contraindications for those with a personal or family history of certain thyroid cancers. There's also the Ozempic face and rapid skin laxity that comes with very fast weight loss. That's largely a function of speed and lean mass handling. Now the TRT side. Testosterone therapy is a serious medical intervention, not a supplement. It suppresses your natural testosterone production, which can affect fertility, sometimes long-term. It can increase red blood cell count, raising hematocrit to levels that require monitoring. It requires regular blood work for estrogen, PSA, lipids, and more. And it's a commitment. Going on and coming off both have implications that need physician oversight. Third, and this is the one I really want to land, there's the issue of monitoring complexity when you combine them. You now have two powerful interventions affecting metabolism, body composition, and hormones simultaneously. That makes it harder, not easier, to know what's driving what. Rapid weight loss can shift how your body handles testosterone and how aromatase behaves. Blood work needs to be more frequent, not less. This is precisely why this combination belongs exclusively in the hands of a knowledgeable clinician who's tracking the whole picture, not pieced together from forum posts and grey market sources. And let's name that directly. The rise of unregulated peptide and hormone sourcing online is a genuine danger. Purity, dosing accuracy, and sterility are real concerns. The smartest version of this conversation is always one that runs through legitimate, supervised medical channels. So the honest takeaway, the recomposition logic is sound, the mechanisms are real, and the early signals are promising. But this is an emerging protocol, not a settled science, and the risk profile demands respect. Recap and CTA, let's bring it home. We covered three things today. 1. GLP-1 agonists drive powerful fat loss but threaten lean muscle. 2. Testosterone is the muscle preservation counterweight, and the two may even reinforce each other through the fat-testosterone feedback loop, making the recomposition synergy genuinely compelling. And 3. The trade-offs from GI side effects to suppression to monitoring complexity mean this only makes sense under proper medical supervision, with protein and training doing the heavy lifting underneath. If you want to go deeper, I've put together a collection of resources in the description below. Links to the key clinical trials we mentioned, the body composition studies, and further reading on both compounds so you can evaluate the evidence yourself. Check that out before you take anyone's word, including mine, at face value. If this breakdown helped you think about this more clearly, do me a favor and hit subscribe. We publish research-based deep dives on hormones, peptides, and nutrition every single week, and I'd hate for you to miss the next one. Stay curious, stay critical, and keep optimizing. I'll see you in the next